Hello again. We are now in lesson 5-6, inverses of linear functions, part 2. Our lesson today is to find the inverse of linear function. أهلا بكم من جديد، ودرسنا اليوم هو إيجاد قيمة أو إيجاد الدالة العكسية للدوال الخطية الجزء الثاني. A linear relation that is described by a function may have an inverse function. العلاقة الخطية إلها علاقة عكسية وممكن تسمى دالة عكسية and that can generate ordered pairs of the inverse relation وسنقوم بتسميتها يعني f of x الدالة الأصلية الانفرس تبعها الدالة العكسية هنسميها f inverse of x as if it is to the power minus 1. So we will name it, we will write it, the inverse, we will write it as f to the power negative 1 of x. And we cannot say f to the power negative 1, we'll not say that. We will call it inverse of a function of x. Inverse of linear functions can be found using the following steps. Step 1, replace any f of x with y. نبدل كل قيمة للf of x بالy. Step 2, interchange y and x. نبدل x بالy y بالx. Step 3, solve the equation of y. يعني لازم يكون عندنا y equals كذا. Replace y with f inverse. This y is the same as f inverse. Now let's practice. Question 1. f of x is equal to 5 times x minus 4. Step 1, we will name this as y. And at the same time, I can distribute 5 times x minus 20. Step 2, interchange x and y. So we will call this x and we will call this y. Step 3, solve for y. I need y alone, so I'll take this negative 20 to that side. And then I want y alone, so I will divide by 5. So my y is x plus 20 over 5. Step 4, last one, is just to replace or rename it. The new y is the same as f inverse of x. Yani this one is renamed as f inverse of x, and I will copy what I have in the previous step. We can also write it in this way. We can divide each term over this 5. So we can name it as x over 5 plus 20 over 5. Or it is 1 over 5x plus the 4. So this is my inverse. Function number 2, 3 over 4x plus 6. Following the same procedure. Step 2, interchange. Step 3, solve for y. Now we want y alone, so I will multiply both sides by 3 over 4, means 4 over 3, the inverse, to get rid of that, التخلص من هذا. And don't forget the bracket. لا تنسى الأقواس لأنك multiplying both sides, so we have y equals 4 over 3 times x minus 6. We can also distribute if you want. So it is 4 over 3x minus 4 times 6, 24 over 3, 8. Last step, we write it as f inverse. So f inverse of x is 4 over 3x minus 8. Easy. Let's do here when you have an expression totally over a number. Same steps. Step 2. Now, as we learn in solving equations, if you want y alone, let's first get rid of this denominator. نتخلص من هذا المقام. multiply by 5 or both sides, and this will be 5x equals minus 4y plus 2. Now it's easy for us. You can do it this way if you like. You can take the negative 4 here, 5x there. So it will be 4y is equal to negative 5x plus 2. And we can divide everything by 4. So we can write it also as negative 5 over 4x plus 2 over 4. Simply, you can simplify. Plus 2 over 4 is the same as 1/2. Last step will be just replace the y by the f inverse of x. Perfect. Write an equation of the inverse that satisfies the given condition. Now we have slope of f of x is 6, and the graph of f inverse of x contains the point 12, 1. As we have studied before, مثل ما درسنا أول, to write the equation, we want at least 1 point slope or 2 points. يا إما عندنا نقطة وميل أو نقطتين عشان نقدر نطلع منهم الميل. ولكن الآن أنا ما عندي إياهم بطريقة مباشرة. I don't have them directly. I want now the equation of this f inverse. What do I have? أنا اللي عندي point بس. I need slope. I don't have it, but I have the slope of the original function. If the original function have a slope 6, then the slope of the inverse f of x inverse is 1 over 6, as we discussed in the previous part. Part 1 of the lesson, we discussed this. So I have now function slope is 1 over 6, point is 12 and 1, then I can write the equation in y equals mx plus b, and we will continue as we studied before مثل ما كملنا بالأول. This is x, this is y. Slope is 1 over 6, x is 12 plus b. So 1 is 2 plus b, take this 2, 1 minus 2 is negative 1 is b. So we have a new b now, and my function f of inverse of x is اللي هو y equals mx plus b. So this is my y. Now the new m is 1 over 6 x plus the new b, which is negative 1. Now write the equation of the function f inverse of x if you know that the graph of f contains these points. Remember, we are finding the equation of inverse, not this function originally. So we need the points on the inverse. So if you know that originally the function have negative 3, 6, then my point now is 6 and minus 3. And the 6, 12 turns to 12, 6. And then I will deal with it as I have done before. إذا أتعامل معاه مثل ما تعاملت بالأول. أنا عندي الفانكشن موجودة البوينتس عليه، بس أنا بدي معادلة، أو أنا بدي الدالة موجودة البوينتس عليه، أنا عندي معادلة الدالة العكسية. الدالة العكسية إذا هنقلب الأوردر بير، الإكس تصير واي وواي تصير إكس. Simply we will have 6 and minus 3 and 12 and 6. And now we will do the same procedure. نفس اللي كنا نعمله بالأول، نطلع الميل ونطلع الإيكويشن بدلالة المقطع والميل. So find the slope. 6 minus minus 3 over 12 minus 6. So it is 9 over 6, which is divide by 3, divide by 3, which is 3 over 2. Okay, 3 over 2 is my slope. I will choose one of the point. Let's choose negative 3, 6. So if you want y equals mx plus b, this is my x, this is my y. Slope الجديد الميل الجديد 3 over 2. X is minus 3. B, I want to find it. And I will replace 6 is minus 9 over 2 plus b. Take this to the other side. So 6 plus 9 over 2 is b. 9 over 2 is 4.5 plus 6 is 10.5. So my B is 10.5. That means my equation, if or inverse of x, على صورة y equals mx plus b is the new m, the slope اللي جديد اللي طلعته اللي هو 3 over 2x plus the new b which is 10.5. You can write it as also 21.21 over 2, or we can say 20, as you said, 21.5. You can write it this way, 10.5. Okay, perfect. Now write the equation of the inverse. We want the equation of the inverse function. If you know the following, f inverse of 5 is equal to 2. From here, our point is input 5, output 2. So we have point. Do you know the slope? I know the slope of the original. عندي ميل الفانكشن الأصلي. So my slope للجديد is 1 over 4. So I have a point and a slope. ونكمل طبيعي. So y equals mx plus b. So 2 اللي هذه x وهي y. 1 over 4 times 5 plus b. 2 is 5 over 4 plus b. Take this to the other side. Equals b. And now subtract 2 minus 5 over 4. 5 over 4 is 1 and 1 over 4. So it's 3 over 4. You can do it this way if you want, by 4, by 4. So 8 over 4 minus 5 over 4 is 3 over 4 if you don't want to use the calculator. So my equation will be f inverse of x is mx plus b, means 1 over 4x plus our new b, which is this one. Easy. Real life application. Sarah is building raised garden beds for her backyard. The total cost is given. This is the function where x is the number of pieces. So my x is number of pieces of wood. And C is the total cost. A, find the inverse of the function. Originally we have C of x, so I will replace it by y. So I have 125 plus 16x, and I will do the same thing. هسوي نفس الشيء، أبدل الx بالy. So it will be x is equal to. Then remember what? Solve for y. So this will be x minus 25 equals 16y, and then we will divide by 16. قسم على 60 كلا 16 على العدد. So y is x minus 125 over 16. إذا اللي مطلوب مني C inverse هتكون x minus 125 over 16. تمام. Remember now, what does x mean here? إيش معنى الإكس؟ كانت في الأصل في الفانكشن الأصلي x is number of pieces of wood. So here x will be the cost with C inverse of x هي number of pieces. عكس اللي كنا نعمله بالأول بالضبط. Look carefully and compare. So x is my cost and C inverse is the number of pieces. If the total cost is $269 and each piece of wood was 12 feet long, how many total feet of wood were used? So let's see here. What do we do? What do we have here? We have x in the inverse. We have x minus 125 over 60. So now this is the number of pieces. This is the total cost. So let's find the number of pieces. Number of pieces will be the x in our function now, 269 minus 125 over 16. Let's find it. 269 minus 125 over 16, which is 9. What is this 9? Now, this is number of pieces. So number of pieces is 9 pieces. Now he said that each piece, one piece is 12 feet long. I have 9 pieces. 9 pieces. How many feet I will do? Cross multiply. We can name this x. So my x times 1 is 12 times 9. So it is 12 by 9, which is 108. 108 feet is the total length. So this represents the total length. Perfect. Use proportion here. Now, let's think. If f of x is 4x plus a, if inverse of 5 is minus 1, find a. From here only, we can know that the point 5 and minus 1 belongs to the inverse function. So that means the original function f has what? Has minus 1 and 5. So this belongs to the function f of x. That means this is my y and this is my x in the original function. Since we know that this f of x is the same as y, we will replace. 5 is equal to 4, negative 1 is x plus a. So simply now, 5 is minus 4 plus a. Take the negative 4, will be positive 4, or you can add 4 to both sides. So a is 5 plus 4, which is 9. Last question. If f of x is 1 over a x plus 2, if inverse is 3x minus b, find a and b. Now, as you see here, let's compare the slope. Slope of the function function of x is 1 over a. So here my slope m is 1 over a. Here the slope is 3. What is the relation between the slopes? We know that the slope of the function is the reciprocal of the inverse. That means here, if you find here the slope, this should be 1 over 3. That means 1 over a should equal to 1 over 3. Yani here the slope is 1 over a. For the inverse, it will be a over 1, right? You can do it this way. So my a over 1 is equal to 3. So my a is 3. Again, I will rewrite it in a better way. Let's do it in a good way now. Slope of the function is 1 over a. Slope of inverse accordingly is the reciprocal, which is a over 1, which is a. That means the slope of the function here should equal to 3. A is equal to 3, and this is done. Perfect. How about B? We found A and we want B now. Now, B here represents what? Represents the y-intercept, مقطع y. Now here, our y-intercept is 2. Are they equal? Of course not. Is there a relation between them? Not necessarily. But we know that this is y-intercept in the original function. So if this is y-intercept, that means 0 and 2 is in the original function. That means the inverse function should include what? 2 and 0. So 2 and 0 is in the function f of x. So we now know that f inverse of x, which is equal to 3x minus b, includes the point 2 and 0. So let's replace. This is my x and this is my y for the inverse. My y here is 0 equal to 3 times 2 minus b. So 0 is 6 minus b. That means my b is 6 definitely. In this case, we have used the x-intercept to y-intercept. for the inverse and the relation itself. And we have used also that the slopes are reciprocals of each other. With that, we are done with this lesson, and we will see you